Robert F. Kennedy Jr. is an independent candidate for president, and he spoke before a group of black voters and said some really wacky stuff that admittedly, with these guys, there's some kernel of reality in there, but it's often mashed up and reconstituted into something that isn't really what it is. Here is Robert F. Kennedy Jr. saying to black voters, listen, we are never going to eliminate racism. There's a lot that goes into this discussion, so let's play it and then we will discuss.
I'm going to say this, a lot of the liberal energy to deal with racism, systemic racism in this country, has been directed at trying to make people so they're not racist anymore. Through education, through sanctions, through cancellation, whatever. And all of these things are important. But I would say that we're never going to eliminate racism. We are hardwired from the 20,000 generations that humanity spent wandering the African savannah in little tribal groups. We're hardwired to look for differences in other people and then to essentially practice racism.
He is starting with a kernel of reality. And the kernel of reality is that when there is uncertainty, we are hardwired. I'm going to use the word hardwired. I don't know that it's exactly the right word, but if we want to say we're hardwired to anything, it's when there is complexity and decisions to be made on which maybe our lives depend, we are in a way hardwired to stereotype. What is a stereotype? A stereotype is a shortcut that takes some rule and applies it to the individual. And there can be positive or negative stereotypes, but we really should see stereotypes at least at some point as something that was an adaptive response. And so if you start to notice intuitively that when you are in danger, there is a certain type of person around. Either it's always people wearing glasses that are around when there is danger, or maybe it's racial, or maybe it's whatever. The reason the brain would stereotype is to say, I don't know this particular person, but here is a stereotype about what is often the case. I can apply it to this person to quickly make some kind of judgment and maybe keep myself safe. There is a lot of scientific basis for stereotyping as a shortcut to keeping ourselves safe. But when RFK Jr. says, listen, we're just hardwired to be racist and that's it, that's a different thing. We are hardwired to notice differences. We are hardwired to try to use stereotyping for shortcutting. But racism as a practice and as a societal construct, which is often what we're talking about, is not a result of evolutionary biology. It's social, it's cultural, and it involves a bunch of individual factors. So when he argues, listen, we're hardwired to be racist, it's just a totally defeatist attitude to social progress. And by the way, we have become less racist over time. If it were true that we got to accept defeat, we're just going to be racist and society will be racist. The truth is that we have seen changes. We have seen changes under the law. We have seen changes in practice, and we have seen changes at the individual level about racist attitudes. And so while stereotyping and noticing differences is something that humans do naturally, we know that the racist application of that reality has been dealt with to some degree over time. And if you look at some of the evolutionary psychology on this, what RFK Jr. is saying is that since the origins of humanity, we make judgments based on various traits, and those judgments influence our behavior. That is different than deterministically saying we are going to be racist on that basis. And I don't honestly know even why he's talking about this. It's one of these things where it's like, what are we talking about again? But it really doesn't make a lot of sense. Now, here is... Actually, you know what? The other clip isn't even really related. It's about how to make kids resilient against racism. I'm going to skip the clip. It's not even a great clip. Making not a lot of sense, RFK Jr., but I will tell you, in the 3 latest national polls, Trump Biden, Kennedy. RFK is polling 14, 17, and 24. Those are scary numbers. Those are scary numbers. You may remember a few years ago, the show got hacked and several $1,000s were stolen. We never got it back. But now I have a lot more peace of mind because we use Aura. Our sponsor, Aura, is the all-in-one tool to protect your online and financial accounts. Aura alerts you anytime your personal info is found on the dark web or in data breaches, could be social security number, logins, financial accounts. You will get very fast alerts if a criminal does something like try to open up a bank account in your name, take out credit in your name. Aura will also monitor your bank accounts, your home and auto titles, which can help to guard against fraud. And Aura even protects your phone by letting you block and screen spam calls and texts. Aura has parental controls for your kids' devices to restrict apps, manage screen time, set focus time. You can try Aura free for 14 days at aura.com/Pacman. It only takes a few seconds to use the free trial to see if your username and passwords have been leaked online. The link is down below.